What's poppin'? Y'all better proceed with caution. My team in the top 10 believe in the process. Pull up, then we pulling out trays like we bartender savior. I'm God's in the space with the Martians. Fuck fame, cause the fame was what made me so heartless. We will never be the same, people, the things I accomplished. Flow so dope that you may need some boxing. Whoa, said they really want to feature till I hit them.
Hi, this is Michael Hurley from Ghost Galaxy, and you're listening to Archon's Corner.
He said he wasn't coming.
I know, we can do all the naughty things now.
Oh, God. No.
You guys want to talk about ass?
They're not nearly as much fun when he's not here.
Oh, yeah, this is all true. Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Impromptu Monday show. I don't know why we're doing this show on a Monday, but here we are.
Well, some of us got to be in Vegas this weekend.
Nobody cares.
Starting Thursday.
Nobody cares about you, Dresper.
Come on.
Not a soul.
Come on. Vegas.
Oh, we man, what do I call you? Choke show?
Choke show?
I've had better intros for Drascore. I apologize, Drascore. But we have the Choke Show, Drascore.
Let's go, guys.
We have our resident PhD, Dr. Sheep.
Still haven't learned anything.
Yeah, we have we got a couple of special guests with us. We got Gorlami.
How's it going?
And by possibly the best name in all of Discord, Sith of Agmar.
What to do?
So we brought them on to have a little talk about the Dallas Vault Tour. Obviously, that came and went. And these are your two winners. How's it feel to win, boys?
Feels pretty good.
I would say not everybody at once. Everybody calm down over there.
Great.
It's pretty good. I went out there. I did what I needed to do. You know, I played a real tight game and, got it done.
Now I won't say that, but
it's like every high school quarterback's interview they do when they go to state. Oh, we worked real hard. Did what we gotta do.
It's not just high school. It's professional and collegiate sports too.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I will give that one too.
Did you find your 110%?
We gave it our all out. We gave it our all out there. You know, left it all on the table.
40 card decks, 110%.
Yeah. I don't think that bodes well for fraud, but Dallas came and went. We had a bunch of fun at Dallas. Let's go over. Do we want to go over the numbers real quick then? We can deep dive into them later because I do like the numbers.
Yeah.
All right.
Numbers.
So, oh boy, I see one thing already. Where's Jam? Is he here? No Jam. All right. So I'm going to let y'all, well, y'all already seen it. 62% of all decks were Winds of Exchange decks.
In Archon, yes.
In Archon. Yes. I'm sorry. This is Archon. I don't know if I didn't say that already. We had 12% call of the Archon's decks. 1.7. So were there 58 total? There's 58 total Archon players. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
it's 58
right.
and 25.
I thought it was 40 something. But
No.
So what? We had 3 Call of the Archon decks ish.
Well, it was more than that, right? Because
let me get my calculator. 50.
10% would be 5,
Yeah.
so 12% is 12.
6.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yes.
Yeah,
7 decks.
I know 2 of them were still there making the run for top 8.
Okay. Age of Ascension. Welcome the Age of Ascension apologist. 1.7%. Worlds Collide at 10.3. Mass Mutation also at 10.3. Here's the one that's going to kick everybody. Who did it? Sheep. Vault Masters. 3.4.
The 2 of them.
Yeah.
I believe they were both opened at the event too, if I recall.
Yeah, I played against one of them actually. I think first round, and it was actually a really interesting deck because most of the good. I'll put that in air quotes. We haven't seen good, but we've seen some decent stuff. Mostly because some of the logos houses are crazy, and everything else is often leaves something to be desired. But this did not have logos and had some good stuff. Had a really sweet Star Alliance suite. Had a Gangernaut with a Brick Nasty, I think. And then the Untamed was okay. but it was, it was better, I guess, more well-rounded deck than I've seen before. But obviously didn't make top 8 or anything like that.
I want to go real quick over the top 12 cards because I think this paints. Obviously with the things it paints a story. Brick Nasty, number 1. Vatminder, number 2. Berserker Slam, number 3. Closed Door Negotiation, number 4. Zaora at number 5. Befuddled, number 6. Rant and Rhyme, number 7. Rowdy Scald, number 8. Generous Offer, number 9. Keltminder, number 10. Mix, number 11. And Scoop Up, number 12. They always do such random numbers, but literally the most played cards, I guess no shocker there, came out of the most played set.
I mean, those are almost all exclusively Winds of Exchange, right?
Which one of those is not exclusively? Oh, Berserker Slam. That's it.
Berserker Slam.
That's really it. Yep.
And I doubt you're seeing many from
Worlds Collide.
From Worlds Collide, yeah.
All the good Worlds Collide Brobnar was shipped to Italy.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over there. So, yeah, I forgot about Berserker Slam being in Worlds Collide. So, my bad. But we're here to talk about the Vault. So, Gorlami, which one did you play?
I played Alliance.
Perfect. And how was the Alliance field?
I would say full of really good players.
Okay.
There were 25 people who played Alliance,
20,
right?
Yeah, 25 total people.
I lost the article.
Yep, that's correct.
Yep, 25, yep.
Yeah. And for the most part, yeah, I would say everyone that I saw or played, I knew of them, or have played them in person or on TCO before, so pretty good.
Wasn't there one? There was one person who I didn't recognize. I played like a casual game against him, who I thought made top 8 for.
Yeah, you're talking about Strawman. He's a local to Z's group over in Houston.
Gotcha.
The one non-team player. That's something we've kind of been touching around the edges on. Is like when you look at these, standings for this. There's 3 people who aren't between 2 or 3 of the biggest major teams.
Isn't everyone on a team?
I'm sure they're all on a team.
Let's
but
see.
there's...
Dallas Archon, top 4. I'm going to butcher this. Kokade?
Yep. I don't know if he's on any teams.
All right. Frozen Tauntaun, I believe, is on a team, no?
Nope. He's a AC regular, actually.
Oh. Really?
And brother to Xander, who is on Team SAS.
Oh, okay. Sith, what team are you on?
Team Reap Out.
And Flaming Hobo also Team Reap Out. So half.
Yeah.
And then we have Alliance. Z, obviously SAS. Aviator. What is Aviator on?
He's ABR.
He's ABR. Okay. Gorlami, obviously you are
Team Reap Out.
Reap Out and Cordero team Reap Out as well. So teams obviously playing a big role. I think we'll touch on that another day. That's a whole.
I like how you just skipped Z.
I said Big
4.
Z. That's literally the first name I said. Do you even listen to this show?
Maybe I just blocked it out. I was like,
oh gosh,
I don't want to hear about that.
I don't want to hear about Z.
You're not supposed to fight in front of the guests.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, my bad. But moving forward, I totally lost my spot in it. Oh, Vault Tour for Alliance, a bit more of a spread, which I think is what Alliance is probably going to be good at. Winds of Exchange at 37%, Mass Mutation at 25%, Worlds Collide at 16%, AOA at 12.5%, Call of the Archons at 4.2%, and then Vault Master coming in there also at 4.2%. Is there any chance that
each of those
Call the Archons ever breaks back into Alliance with the current list that is available, with the current banned and restricted list?
I mean, it took second in Seattle. And then, I don't know, Ewok had a chance to play a pretty good one and chose not to. But
Yeah.
it does suffer the worst from what the current ban list is. I think actually the interesting thing I see in this article was going back to the top cards was closed door negotiation is number 4 at 19. And in my now play experience playing WoW, I actually have closed door pretty far down on my list. The draw it gives to good decks often then comes back and punishes you significantly. And sealed, where they're likely to draw a bunch of creatures and then you can kill them, it's fine. But like at this level of play, closed doors, I don't think is a great choice. And if you also look at the top 8, there is a 0 transition, not a 0 closed door that I found made it to the top 8. How about you guys? Sith and Gorlami, how have you guys found with closed door?
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing any closed doors in any of my matches in the top 8.
I know I get a little giddy when somebody plays closed door against fraud, because it basically means I'm going to go bananas next turn.
Well, and I think part of it is that there are so few key cheats in this set to reset you back down to very low to then let you burst up even further to make it feel like you get more value for that. Unlike you had in previous sets.
What do you mean? I just totally like.
Yeah, like your ability to go to 0, so when you play your closed door, you're getting more value out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So like we used to do with bait and
classic
switch.
Bait and switch.
Classic bait and switch. I mean, I think it just gives too many cards to people.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the case. Is it?
I got my fucking balls
It's a
pushed
lot of
in
time.
2 weeks ago because of that. Because Z just says you always play it. Always play it.
I'm on to a mostly discard it.
Well, Xander is throwing in the Discord right now. I like closed door dooring people for steal 1.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, I think you play it for lower value than you play it for big value, where you have them draw 4+ cards.
Especially at, like you guys were saying, at the level of competition that we were playing at, like the amount of value in each deck, like you're just giving them that much more cards that they can use. It's not usually worth it at that level.
Right. Even imagine a quote unquote, good scenario where Sith, right? You're playing Faithy, your opponent just forges, they're at 0, you're in check. They do a huge steal, right? They're giving you that chance to get your steward, right?
Yep.
So that if you don't get it, or one of the, get some of your sandhoppers, maybe it's worth it. But if you do get it, like that is a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess let's get into that. Obviously, the reason Z is not here is because a Strange Shell deck won a Vault Tour, so he's no longer on the cast.
I was gonna say, I was wondering why he wasn't here to be an apologetic about Strange Shell.
Yeah, we actually just kicked him off the cast altogether.
He
He's
climbed under his Strange Shell, and he is not coming out.
The Mollusker hasn't reaped yet, so he's
Yeah.
He's looking for his mollusk collar.
Yeah. He can't reap, fight, or podcast before.
Yep. Now Amberling has to win a vault, which I don't know if it ever will. But
there's like a mystical scenario under which I think Amberling might work. But I don't know.
Like a legend, which also isn't real?
Well, no cheat sheets. Very few key cheats. Again, right? I think that's another problem.
I mean, you have the one.
Amberling,
go ahead.
Amberling can definitely thrive if it's in the right deck, but it's going to require quite a bit of token spam, and then also being able to, like Draz said, key cheat, like token up of appreciation. You can just forge for however many tokens, and then you can use those tokens to pay for it. So
there's if you got maybe a 25 generator or something like that, maybe it can work.
But you're also in Star Alliance.
Yeah, and there are some good cards, but there's a lot of mediocrity in there.
A lot of mediocrity. Not the Star Alliance we're used to. So anyways, getting back to Strange Shell, what went into your deck selection for the event?
So I had opened my deck from some stuff I got at Gen Con. At first, I didn't even think about it. I saw the 3 Sandhoppers and was like, okay, this might be worth something. And then the first time I tested it, I was like, oh, this goes bananas. Given the 3 hoppers, I tested it against a couple of different Team Reapout teammates, including Gorlami here. Got to see it firsthand before the event. I think Gorlami, you said after we played, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna stick to Alliance.
Yes, that was a part of my decision.
Yeah. Just in testing it, like it's straight up just a creature deck, which I think is really uncommon for Archon tournaments. You don't see that too typically, but with the 3 hoppers, like you can just build a board really quickly once you get those out. And then in addition, you've got the Pixie with the Draw Steward, which again, I didn't even know that it was there until I played it for the first time. I was like, oh, I can do some things with this. And so after testing it, playing Dave, playing Gorlami, playing George several times, I just felt very confident in the deck, and that's what I figured it would do really well.
So you did get one loss, right, going into day 2?
Yes, I did. The one loss was actually to fellow teammate Magic Duck online. He was playing another WoW deck that had double Destroy Them All, which really, it took me a lot longer to get set up with the Sandhoppers against him, and then he was able to burst with a double membership drive, and I just wasn't able to come back after that. So, but yeah, that was the only loss I had.
And for those, since we don't have our walk bot here, I'll read the name of the deck here. So this is Favy B Troptogram, the Center. And what's really interesting, if you don't have DOK in front of you, is that you look at those first 4 stats, and none of them are big. In fact, a lot of them are pretty small. Ember Control 8.6, Expected Ember 7.2, Artifact Control 0.3, Creature Control 6.1. So it doesn't jump off the page. Now you do have your 23 speed and your 7.8 disruption, but just purely by the stats, purely by those numbers, you're like, wait, what? But it's in it's in how you use it.
Yes, it very much is. And those stats aren't necessarily wrong. Outside of hoppers, like the deck is very slow. It's got it does have amber control in every house, but it can really come down to timing if you don't have the setup ready. So like it's the only amber control it has is like the 2 Hemas in Unfathomable, and then you've got the 2 Mix in Mars, and then in Equidon, you're really just hoping that you have Puzzling Trinket to use the pips for capture if you need it. But other than that, it really doesn't have any way to stop my opponent. Now, once I get the combo out, then it generates a ton of draw, and efficiency, being able to play out of house creatures, including the Hemas, including the mix, so I can time those and just call Equidon every turn.
So, looking at your deck, do you think it would be as good if it was not a strange shell deck?
No, actually, I think the Strange Shell actually makes it that much better. Strange Shell is easily the most optimal token for this deck specifically. And I think Strange Shell, before I found this deck, I was a very big advocate like Z that Strange Shell was terrible. But I think in this very specific deck, like if you don't have Strange Shell, then you risk tokenizing one of your combo pieces, one of the 3 hoppers or the steward, and then not being able to get that back until you cycle. But considering the deck is already really slow, chances are you aren't going to get a chance to cycle again. So I think Strange Shell is the key token for this deck specifically.
So what you're saying is there's a token for every deck.
Possibly, yeah.
Can Shredder be a token? Because that seems like the right one for a lot of them.
I mean, we can make a Shredder token.
That might be the next thing. All right, Gurlami, what led you to your Alliance deck?
I've been practicing that particular alliance for a while, and I'll start with a shout out to Aviator for letting me borrow the Dispod in that particular alliance. But I've always been a big fan of just fast creature flood, and it's one of my more favorite archetypes in Mass Mutation, and the overall meta has seemed to have been favoring those type of decks, from what I've seen from J Power and Noble One winning. So I decided to go with it last minute. I actually didn't decide to play Alliance until that morning on Saturday. So, and I think the ongoing joke at the moment is that my whole motivation to play Alliance was to beat Dave in Alliance at some point of the tournament. So, that's that was specifically the reason I chose Alliance at the end of the day. But yeah, I think the deck has done pretty well for me in practice. It's just very board based. I can it feels like a woe type of spam creature deck, but faster and without losing those key cards that I would like. The deck doesn't have a lot of amber, so it's I actually also considered that so I could get around Infernus. It has 5 total amber pips, including any bonus enhanced things. So really, Infernus is going to have to purge my creatures and forego any amber control. So that's also a big component in it. And I can cycle through creatures pretty effectively over and over, even if you decide to wipe my board. So yeah, I think it does well with needing creature control, and I think Alliance doesn't have a lot of that at the moment.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing where you're playing still to deal with the Infernus meta that exists, which it still shows up as number 3 on the cards for Alliance, where it now no longer even shows up on the standard Archon list, right? And even if you look, but only 20% of the decks that came could even have Infernus in them in Archon, where it's still on the top list. So playing around Infernus there is definitely a thing. Yeah, when people sacrifice something, C is often a choice.
Exactly. So C is the easiest one to get rid of. Usually that and R. So I went with pushing for my see agenda there.
And
Oh,
importantly, you've got a couple key cards in here, right? You got your Dark Amber Vault with how many mutants is this? This is close to 20 here.
It's 19, I believe.
Okay, yeah, quite a lot. And Eaton's Jar, your auto encoder. Lots of important artifacts to back up all these draw pips with these Chronoses.
Yeah, 2 Cronoses. I think honestly the Skippy Time Hog was MVP the entire run. I ran into other creature-based decks, and spamming Skippy 2 to 3 times a game was really impactful. And obviously with the draw, I'm able to archive a lot if Cronus ever comes down. And there's a lot of drop pips in the Untamed. So if one of the Cronus ever lives, I'm having a pretty big turn going into that Untamed turn to archive and set up for the next turn.
Right. You did now. I'm curious, right? You got a Vault's Blessing. There's a decent amount, not a massive amount, but there's a decent amount of mutant decks out there in Alliance. How often did you find this to be quite valuable versus maybe something you had to think about before playing?
There was, I think, 1 or 2 games where I thought about it, but for the most part, I had creatures on board already, so I was able to fight stuff off to give the opponent less value. So Vault's Blessing was actually always a play, and it's my main form of Ambergen in that deck. So it usually bursts for something around eight or more.
Nice.
And at some point, I think depending on the matchup, I'll loop Vault's Blessing for a rule of 6 if I'm towards the end of my deck.
That's a good thing. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of rule of 6 things they can do towards the end of the game, which I really like. I think that was one of the big key things that I did in my finals game where I rule of 6 mind fired in Dis. So that was I think that's a big component against combo decks for that alliance specifically.
Yeah, take out those Martian generosities, right?
Yep, I did hit one very lucky hit on game 2, and I think that was what won me that game.
Nice.
All right, so Garami, you said you were going to Vegas. Sith, are you going to make it to Vegas?
No, I will not be at Vegas.
Okay. And now, Garami, now that you're a qualified, rich Keyforge player, what's your goals? What kind of goals you got there now?
I don't know. I wouldn't say
all
rich.
the thousands.
But I don't know. I'm just gonna keep playing. I honestly didn't expect to win when I went to Dallas. I just wanted to. The goal was top 8 at the end of the day, and being able to make it to finals and win the whole thing. Make it to finals against Aviator of all people, one of my locals here that I play against, and I think he's one of the best players in Keyforge at the moment. So to have been able to play with him and win against him was honestly a big shocker to me. So, but I'm just gonna keep playing. I'm excited to play at Worlds, so that's gonna be super fun. Going to be there with, I hope, as many of the Team Reapout members as we can get there. And then Vegas, I don't know what I'm playing yet, so I'll probably decide on that Saturday morning again.
You gotta go over to Archon to be the second person with a double invite. Because the more invites you guys win, the better chance I get on LCQ, because that seems to be my only chance, because I can't get past that top 8 thing.
And I still have a lot of questions about how the LCQ is going to work, if you're going to be able to pick or if they're just going to give you based on the spots available.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
if I had to take my guesses, they're gonna know you. Everybody who's playing already qualified has to pick, so they'll know how many slots, and then they're just gonna go from top to bottom, right? Like first place, which one do you want to play in? Okay, second place, which one do you want? By the time they get to like fifth or sixth or whatever for it, they'll be like, well, there's only Alliance left, so who wants to play Alliance?
Yeah, I think that's what we've been speculating as well, but that seems like a hard pill to swallow for some people.
Well,
You got to be prepared for both.
Yeah, there's only 32 slots.
Yeah.
To play in Archon, so it seems like based off of all the other events that would fill up first, but Alliance keeps getting more people.
Unless they actually try to fill a bracket that includes these buys that supposedly people are going to get.
Well, they already said in their thing there's 32. That's in the.
Well, I think based on the numbers, and I wish Z was here, he'd probably know, but I think based on the number of invites for all the nationals and the vault tours, that there would be more than 32.
There would be 34 invites.
Right?
Yep, but if you look at their Keyforging announcement, I'm pretty sure it says 32 per event.
It does.
I was going to say for the vault tours in, what is it? In Italy and Shanghai, they were giving 4 invites.
I thought it was 2.
Were they?
Yeah.
Maybe for overseas, they were getting more invites because they don't have as many, because they didn't get as many. I mean, I guess all the nationals, they got more nationals than they did vault tours. I don't know. It's kind of a weird scenario.
Because there's 11 internationals, so that's 22 from Grand Championships, except we already know Germany didn't even fire Alliance, and another one didn't get enough players to have an Alliance invite.
This is all true.
So like 22 Archon invites, plus the 6 events from the US is another 12, right? We can do math.
Can we?
Yep, we can. And then if there are 8 more coming from the 2 things, that's just over 40. But not everybody's coming. So it'll be interesting. It will be interesting to see. Because that would be even feel worse, is if you had an invite to Worlds and then you came and they're like, oh no, sorry, you weren't one of the first 32 people to sign up. And you can't play. Like, I can't imagine they're gonna.
I mean, they've done some things, but like most of them, because CPT said to do those things. Like, I can't imagine CTB said to do that, so they'll figure it out.
I think 32 is pretty realistic based off the number of invites they're getting versus who comes, and there'll be a few for the LCQ.
Hey, I won a game with fraud.
Nice.
Good job pulling the sheet. Okay, all right, guys. So going on with our questions here that we had
you guys are doing all the work here. I could just sit back and relax.
Isn't it nice?
It is so nice.
Usually you're doing all the talking and I don't get a chance.
I love this. We should do this more often.
Okay, so and either one of you want to start on this. Originally our questions were around how do you think you were going to deal with WoW back in the day when WoW was not the dominant part of the meta, but now for both of them, it's the biggest single set showing up. But how were you thinking your decks were going to fare against the meta that you've seen developing?
Do you want to go first, Gorlami?
Sure. So, I haven't played the alliance that I won with against too much WoW, but from my experience, I think I outboard them. And a lot of the disruption from WoW, which comes from Unfathomable, will usually try to hit key combo pieces or key cards in your hand or stop you from playing cards. Usually I have, I think, a lot of board presence that it doesn't matter. And if you pitch a card, I can usually get back pretty quickly. And especially if it's a creature, I have Resurgence, so it'll allow me to get it back once I go back into Untamed. So um, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal for my deck, but I will most likely try to play Woe in the future, and I think that'll be the best way to counteract Woe. Just play it yourself.
Yeah, I'd say, did you run into any Brick Nasty Berserker?
I did. I think I ran into one. I ran to Hallowfest round 1, and I did jar the Hallowfest just because I didn't want to see any of the shenanigans. And it was a really good game. I did have to play around closed door because of, I think, just the general key difference at that point in time. Even with the amount of card draw I would have received, I think I still would have lost that particular game. But he wasn't able to build a board big enough to counteract mine. So I was able to keep down the Brick Nasties and all the crazy Brobnar stuff.
Seems like your deck would, well, but he has to have it like just be a big feed for a Endless Hordes Brick Nasty.
Yeah, it has to come out early. That's usually, I think, the big thing. Is early board is crushing to a lot of decks.
All right, here's the most important question of the night. You guys ready? I need your full concentration on this.
So ready.
Uh-oh.
Well, what's your favorite flavor of Mountain Dew?
There's only one correct answer, and that's Baja Blast.
Okay, that's acceptable.
I would agree. I would agree with Sith.
Baja Blast is an acceptable Mountain Dew flavor.
Did they make a Coke Zero flavored one?
No, that's called Coke. That's called Coke Zero, sheep. Made by the wrong company, sir.
Well, I thought we were contractually obligated to say that we like flaming hot Mountain Dew.
No, I told you it's Major Melons. It's Major Melons now.
Back on topic, troublemaker.
You don't want to get into colon health?
All right, Seth, how did you feel about the meta over in Archon?
Kind of the same as Gorlami. I honestly wasn't too worried about Woe specifically. I think with Faith being a creature deck, I could just outboard them most of the time. What I was more concerned about was a rush deck, just because Faith is slower. It's only got 9 Amber Pips in the deck, and until I can get the hoppers out, it's a little slow getting things set up. So if I was paired against a rush deck, then I thought I was going to have some trouble, which I did lose to a deck that was pretty bursty with membership drive. But my first round match was actually against Dakota Rush, and I barely squeaked that one out just because I was able to get a board and reap out slightly quicker than they were able to get to their third key. So
sorry, I got to make a note there to add in a drum roll real quick. You know, a little.
Sorry, go ahead, Draz.
No, I was going to make a bad joke. It's like, oh, well, that wasn't cheap, was it? With his Dakota Rush.
No, I did not get to Faith Sith in this event. I still think Coda Rush is a good answer to a lot of the Woe decks that are out there.
Well, Coda has a lot of good answers to Woe, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't run the numbers on this one. In typical AC fashion, I ran no numbers. Doesn't Coda have the most amount of board wipes? Like full wipes, like not bounces, not all that, like full, like your stuff's gone now.
Well, you got Champions Gateway.
You got Champions Challenge.
Another one.
Gateway to Disc.
Coward's End.
Coward's End.
Like the end of the real board wipes.
Coward's End is kind of a me. What's the one?
No, Coward's End is pretty solid.
Against a Brobnar board, I don't know how it does, because most of the Brobnar tokens that are being played fight, so they have damage on them.
I mean,
So-
otherwise you got Save the Pack, which is
Save the
worse.
Pack, which isn't as great, but I mean, still got a lot of stuff again with the hardy tokens out
Isn't it-
there.
Isn't it that because of Kurzap also has Gateway?
Well,
has
because that
Savage
works.
Flash.
Does it have
I think-
gateway?
Yeah, I think is.
Maybe does. I don't know, because
Doesn't it have
I
gateway?
thought you
I
had
don't remember
one
now.
in almost every. Well, I thought the only house that didn't have a wipe of some sort, because doesn't Sanctum have a wipe of some sort?
Spirit's Way.
Spirit's Way, thank you. They had
This
one.
also has 3 fates.
3 fates.
Heated Dis, like there's
Yep.
a bunch.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. Like I think there's a lot more. So like I mean, against a spammy deck, I mean, Gateway says hasta luego, and I still think, Control the Weak can be pretty viable in an Archon deck against, because typically
We've got Befuddle and Woe, and that was one of the top cards. And Control the Weak is arguably a
better
version
Befuddle.
of that. Yeah.
So
Yeah, except it's the way double Befuddle works makes it the better card.
Right.
But now,
yeah,
now
I
you're
agree with
blowing
that.
one.
It
You got to
just
blow 2
requires 2 of
cards
them.
to get the advantage. Where I think just you have 1 card. Because Befuddle does have an Ember Pip. Because of course it does. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't understand what logic goes into putting Ember Pips on cards. Like the good cards all have Ember Pips, and the bad cards have none. Why?
But Sunk Cost doesn't.
Yeah, like
that one's too good.
the Sunk Cost way too good to put an Amber Pip on. Befuddled, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised it doesn't have 2, to be honest with you. But I think Coda has
my deck has one with 2 on it.
I think
It's the right way to play.
It is the right way to play, but I think Coda faces real challenges against MM, which I don't know. Maybe it's time for a Coda resurgence. Again, this is a small turnout. It's tough to figure out what you're going to be going up against, honestly, at Worlds, even Vegas, because
Keyforge is good, because there isn't 4 decks that you have to tech against unless you're playing Alliance. Then
You know what's not here, by the way? I'm just
it is a little
noticing?
more meta defined.
No DT. Not a single DT deck.
Not a single.
was-
I didn't even look at that. Really, not a
It
one.
was- It's the first one that's totally DT free, and it's a bigger event, which I found slightly interesting. Right? You
Yeah.
think more players, better chance. Okay.
Nah, they
Did you
moved on
guys-
to another crappy set called Vaultmaster.
Yeah. Did you guys hit any decks that really surprised you? Did you guys play against something you're just like, I did not see that coming? I mean, Sith, you are that answer for many people.
Yeah.
That's my answer. I did not expect Seth's deck.
Yeah. I tried to, after testing Faith with some of my teammates, I was like, I'm gonna keep this on the DL because like triple Sandhopper is not something that people really knew about, I guess, or oh, this is gonna go crazy. Like they take a look at the Archon card and they say, oh, that's cool, but they don't really grasp the significance of it until they see it happening in front of them.
Especially with that triple enhanced friend.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think there was anything that really surprised me. I think I think I played against a AOA deck that was actually really good. Outside of that, there was a Coda deck that made it to the top 16, if you want to call it that. And everything else was kind of like, just generally good stuff. I mean,
the Ether Spider deck, right? It was the other Coda deck had an Ether Spider that I know was key to some of his victories.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how about Gorlami? Anything interesting in your? How many Alliance games did you have to play?
I went
6 matches.
I went 3-1 in Swiss.
Okay.
And then played 3 more games for top 8. So.
And what got you in Swiss?
I got high rolled. Um, I got something very similar to what I would say Noble One was playing. They Subject Kirby, Ultra Gravitoned me turn 2, and they had Transporter Platform turn 1. So that was pretty brutal. And I got my Savage Clash pitched out of my hand randomly once I drew it to answer his board.
Rough day at the office.
Yeah, that was a rough one. But overall, I think I did expect that type of deck to be there. The one that I think was surprising, and I unfortunately did not get to see it more closely, was the cool Worlds Collide Crassosaurus deck with some, I think, like 4 E-Dies. That looked really cool with Imperial Forge. I hadn't seen that type of combo come out in Alliance, so uh, I thought that was cool to see, and I was not expecting that one.
So we all know our thoughts on 2LO. What's your guys' and Reapout's thoughts on the 2LO system?
I really like it. I think it still needs a minor tweak with at the end of the Swiss rounds, if they just add in a play-in game rather than cutting based on strength of
SOS.
schedule. Yeah, I think it'd be perfect. I really love it.
Well, that's basically what we got for Archon this time, right? Because the numbers worked out perfectly.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly.
Even more perfectly for you, right? With the last round buy.
With the last round buy, yep.
Yep, a free ride in.
Yeah, Alliance was also a clean cut as well, and I would agree. The 2LO is much better. It's just that playing around if someone's getting cut out on strength of schedule, and it seems like it's been the person that gets the buy gets into top 8, and the person that had to play and win gets out. So
that's tough because I had that question because I got the previous round buy to Sith, and I'm like, how does this work? Because does this if you get the buy and it means you're effectively eliminated because of strength of schedule, that is really bad.
yeah, it seems like
Agreed.
they've been giving it to the person that gets the buy from the, I think I know that happened in Roseville, and I think someone mentioned that it happened in Shanghai, and that's all done through playstyle. So I'm assuming that's just what the software is doing and how it's calculating strength of schedule. Because yeah, no fault of your own to get the buy, and then you get cut. That is quite possibly the worst feeling.
Yeah, because the buy is 100% random. It's just all the X1s. If you haven't had a buy, you go into the pool. It's not buys are not done on strength of schedule for this.
Yeah.
So we had no like real. It was a clean cut for Dallas, right?
Yes.
Dallas was clean.
Yeah.
Seattle was not, and it seemed like they put in the play-in game. If I remember correctly, my memory ain't what it used to be, boys. So they did a play.
I don't think they did.
No, there's no
I
play.
thought you said they did.
No, there's never been a play-in.
No,
before.
there's never been one. That's the improvement that they need to make.
It is a little. I was asking questions because I wasn't clear, and I still don't have a clear answer because they could have. Because it's what we'd seen at just about every other event is like if it's 4-0 for the top 4, 3 or 4, however many it is, then there was usually one more round, and they would do the cut and somebody get whacked on strength of schedule. In this event, had they done that after the 4-0s and Archon had went in, if we'd only played one more round, they would have had to eliminate 3 of us by strength of schedule. Which I guess they could have done, and I'm happier that they didn't. And I don't know how it decides when there needs to be another round and when there doesn't. I think it's when, with the bye, if you play a round and then you wouldn't have the right number of players, then it doesn't run the next round.
Sounds like
Right.
you have a question for the GG Q&A.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, because we had exactly 7 X and 1s. If there had been 5 X and 1s, it would have done a hard cut elimination at that point. And 2 people would have just lost on strength of schedule.
Yeah, I got to imagine, again, haven't been to any this year. Kids' birthdays. You know, not being 2 losses and still getting cut. Like, it doesn't seem to me like, what are we talking about? 1 playing round, right? In reality.
Yeah, it'd only ever be 1 more round.
It would only ever be 1 more round. And you guys are finishing by what? 5, 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
So, I mean, does it really add another 45 minutes? Is that killing anybody?
No, I do think they should do it. I imagine, I guess I'm hoping that part of what's going into the equation is them just thinking ahead to, well, what about when this game is huge and we got 250 people there?
I'm sorry, I'm keeping back my laughter.
Yeah. We're not there yet, so maybe
no.
cross that bridge when it comes, right?
That's an interesting thing, because in the current thing, like, I think they'll cap us at 128. I think you would see that if there was
You
a big enough event. They might cap the one event at 128.
I could see capping it if there was other. I mean, I know as we
Yeah,
go,
this
like more
alliance.
things.
Play
become-
Alliance.
Go
Yeah.
play Alliance with your
Go play
non-Alliance.
Alliance.
That
Okay.
seems bad.
All right, let's finish out our questions here.
Okay.
All right. Corey, was there anything you knew that was going to be in the field that you were really hoping to dodge?
Pink Fraud. Yeah, I mean, pretty much anything that had hard R. I don't think there was any specific deck.
Which is
yeah,
so
anything
surprising
that
too,
had-
with WoW being such a big part of the field. You'd figure you see an auction off or two.
Well, but losing one of them, I think. So I did. I have played your Sandhopper deck now to help other people practice and think through the things. And losing one of them is going to slow you down, but it's not going to cripple it. But yeah,
Right.
something like Fraud, where the EMP brass gets to put them all back in the trash.
Man, I don't
and
know,
have them
man.
down.
Every Equidon deck I open has like seven auction offs. Like, that's my entire Equidon house, just auction off. It's like, what is this? So I don't know. Maybe. I mean, all my decks suck, so I'm gonna go sit in the corner. I'll see you guys later.
I mean, I have opened a few decks that have double auction off, but none of them are what I
Worth
would
anything?
consider competitive. Yeah, it's like I have all these decks with good artifact control, but then they aren't actually competitive enough to play. So I think that's the balance, and that's the trouble with if you get a competitive deck, and then it also happened to happening to have that hard R.
So let me ask you guys this, right? We got Menagerie coming up, right? And that's... Hold on, let me make sure I got this right, because Menagerie is what?
We don't know.
We don't
We
know.
don't
what
know. They
Menagerie
haven't
is.
said.
Yeah, that's right. But that's... I forgot, because they give some, little wink, wink, nudge, nudge hints, right? That's not the one I thought it was. What was the one that we're doing?
The Late Night Sealed.
Is it late? No. What's the one where we all thought it was a new format? That's not Menagerie.
That's Menagerie.
Was it
Yeah,
Menagerie?
that's Menagerie. Yep.
Okay. I thought it was Menagerie and something. There was another thing that
I was reading the celebration just before this, and I saw that it said there were player pairings to that. So I don't know what that means, but
Well, I mean, I got some thoughts, and I think my one thought is better than the first thought. Because I really think Menagerie is going... Well, either Late Night Sealed is going to be... I really honestly think we're going to see Grim Reminders at KFC, just like we saw WoW at KFC last year. KFC 2, extra crispy.
Yep. Extra crispy.
So, because it says required items, players will have everything needed to join Menagerie Fun. The Keyforge Celebration goodie bag will include something to get you started. that seemed. I mean, that's just either this is like Keyforge Commander, and the late night thing is where you're gonna play your, your Grim Reminders deck. Because I was thinking about this up late one night. What if Menagerie is just full on, full blown constructed?
Nope.
Then we'll shred it.
I mean,
Okay.
that's fine. I'm just saying, like, Menagerie, like the name to me. I mean, a menagerie is a collection of things, right?
It's extra creatures. You're getting your bonus creature, and then it's gonna be like if it's not commander, it's the other thing where you have a single creature type or some benefit for a creature type.
Okay. Like,
We'll see
Is that commander? Primal.
Well,
That's the other thing.
primal.
There you go.
Well, I mean, tribal is where you like all your creatures.
Tribal,
match.
primal, whatever.
But like commander, like you have like a commander who runs the show for your deck, and you get certain abilities, yada yada. But I don't know. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, are they just gonna open it up and just be full constructed?
Yeah, but
No.
you're still off target here. We gotta finish.
I'm very
we gotta
off
finish
target,
talking to
sorry.
our guests.
Sorry. I
Am
was
I this
looking. I
when
was.
I'm
I was
video
looking for
games
maybe. Yes, you are. My
Okay.
ADD is out of control. Put me back in line.
Yeah. Okay. So just finishing off here. So you guys hit most of our questions, but how do you guys think your decks are going to hold up? Do you plan on bringing them back around, or is the trick out of the bag, and people are going to have an easier time answering you next time at the next event?
I'll let Gorlami go first.
All
So
right.
polite.
I know, right? So I don't think the trick's out of the bag. I don't know if I'll play it at the next event. I'm still deciding. Like I said, I probably won't know if I'm playing Archon or Alliance until the day of.
Well, next event for you is
will-
Vegas, right, Gorlami? You're going to
Correct.
Vegas. Yeah. So
Yes.
I mean, you
yes.
already got your invite. Don't get greedy. I'm just kidding. Be greedy. Be greedy.
You always
Um,
play to win.
I just want to play Fun Keyforge.
Number one Keyforge moneymaker title is open still, right? I think it might still be Sith because of our event. I don't know if anybody's
Yeah. It's
Yeah. I
trumped
think
to that.
Devin and I have been going back and forth, and
Yes.
it's me right now.
and Aviator's got to be close.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Aviator's
is
got to be
Because
close.
he's got a $3 and a $1,000 win now, right?
I think
Or no, he
he's tied
didn't.
with Devin now.
Or did he not? Or is he not won a Vault Tour?
He
Wait,
did. He
Didn't
won Seattle.
Aviator?
Oh yeah, he won Seattle. Okay.
Who won
Didn't
nationals?
he also?
He won nationals.
But there's no money.
cash
Oh, there's
prize
no
for
money at
nationals.
nationals. That's
Yeah.
right.
Because that's
Ah.
the funny thing. The winners at nationals were the exact same people who won Seattle
Yeah.
Yeah.
on essentially the same decks.
Mm-hmm.
No, they were on the exact same decks, weren't they?
I couldn't remember if Aviator had to change out a pod for that one.
No.
Because
I let him borrow both.
yeah, I was
Those
gonna
are
say the
both
other
for
pods
mine.
come from you.
Yeah, no, he got both at Nationals in Seattle. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna play. I don't think it's run its course. It's all about matchups in Keyforge, so I could have very well ran into a bad matchup, and the deck could have done terribly. But I think I ran into good enough matchups or favorable matchups that I was able to run its course and take the win. So I might play Archon in Vegas, or I might play Alliance. I don't know yet.
Yeah, but now you got to have your Alliance deck ready for Worlds.
Yeah, that's I'll plan that for after Vegas.
That's right. October is going to be a big work month for getting ready.
Not for us schlubs who don't got invites. I'm gonna kick my feet
That's
up.
right. All right. How about you, Sith? How you feeling? Are you?
I
Were you
mean, I
bringing those
kind of feel the
sandhoppers
opposite.
around?
I feel like the cat is out of the bag. You guys all know about it now. I'm well aware that it's being tested, like you mentioned. So I don't know if I will bring Faith or not. It's certainly in consideration just because it's the first WoW deck to win a VT, and I think it's still very viable. And especially if you look at the decks that have qualified, not that people will won them, will necessarily bring them, but there's very little R in those decks. So it's definitely in consideration, but I'm not 100% sure if I will bring it to Worlds or not.
All right, and then the last question I got for you guys is who's going to win Archon Worlds?
I mean, I feel like I have to say me, but
There you go. Do it.
You don't have to if you know. Okay, so like saying a name on this show about who's gonna win is like the Madden curse, right? Like it's just not gonna happen unless your name's Noah.
Well, then I've got to
Just say anybody
say
but
Dr.
you.
Sheep.
Yeah, Doctor.
Brutal.
The guy's not even qualified yet. All right, and who's going to win? What are we thinking for Alliance?
I got my money on Jane Power, honestly.
So that seems like
Ooh.
a safety bet.
He's hungry.
Yeah.
He wants it.
Do we start the pool? Do we start over unders? Do we become
I don't know.
degenerate gamblers? I mean,
their Aviator is definitely putting in the work. Sydney is putting in the work. There's
Sydney's qualified for Worlds, right?
Sydney's qualified. I don't know
no,
if AOA.
she
No,
is
not yet.
Didn't she place
not,
second
no.
or something?
Nope, she
No.
got 4th at Nationals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, never mind then.
Yeah. She's got 4th twice, right? Roseville and Nationals.
Yep.
And
At least she can find 4th. I can't even find that.
I do have a question for you guys, actually. With both you, Draz, and you, Dr. Sheep, making top 8 at Dallas, what were your guys' thoughts before we went into day 2 and with the other decks that were in the top 8?
Well, I definitely. So, for those that don't know, Sith and I matched up in the top 8, first round top 8. So, I definitely. It was sort of like I said, right? I saw the Sandhoppers. I saw the ability to play all these sorts of cards out of house. I'm like, okay, he's just gonna keep playing Equidon, and he's gonna hit me with the Tall Mindeds. He's gonna. He's just going to spam the board and eventually, reap a ton with the Mollusk Collar. He's going to bubbles my key stuff. So I was most worried about all that. And I knew I didn't have artifact control. So I was like, well, I could try to just get there faster. And there's a couple of key C cards that I have. So I was like, okay, it's a different weird deck, but I thought I had a decent chance. I mean, you were there, right? So you saw me. I very quickly got kind of flustered because I tokenized some stuff I wanted, and kind of didn't know what to do about it. And you steamrolled me once you started the Steward going. Yeah, and I didn't fully appreciate the Steward just reading the deck list.
Yeah. And I think when I was looking at our matchup, I felt like whoever got the bigger board out faster was going to win that match. And I think I was just fortunate that I was able to do that before you. So obviously you have more board wipes than I do with the Kaboom and the mass buyout. But if I get the board out first, then that kind of nullifies mass buyout, I think. And then the Kaboom also, if I have a Mars board at all, then the Kaboom also is mitigated a little bit by that as well. So,
yeah, when I tokenized the Kaboom when I really needed it, at that point I knew it was over. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
but I was just trying to figure something out at that point. So
Mhm.
it's a good deck, or interesting question, but still a real good deck to bring in that way. I think you're asking the right questions, but definitely surprised me. I'm imagining it surprised other folks as well that you played all the way to the top.
All right.
Yeah,
What about you, Dr. Sheep?
I didn't hit anything that out of the world on the playthrough. Anytime Fraud is playing WoW, it's gotta not beat itself, and then it's got to, and then you're just hoping your opponent doesn't do what Devin did to me, which is on like by turn 3 have 5 of the same house on the board, and you're just going, this is gonna be rough. So yeah, Devin beat me 3-2, pretty tight in top 8. And then we played once more, and it just went all Fraud's direction. And that's just how those matches go at this point. And then I also got paired up against the second place deck, which I previously lost to at Gen Con. That's a tough matchup. Couldn't get that one done. And then I also hit Xander for the win on Donovan, which is 4 routine jobs, which can just outsteal Fraud. And it's another Coda Rush deck, but I don't think I've ever seen that deck play so poorly. It did nothing. It just, it like got itself lost in 2-2-2 hands that it would not correct itself from. So I got a fairly easily win there. It was tough sitting down, and my very first game was against Psycho, which ended up being the second place deck. Took the first loss immediately. Very glad we're not playing.
Yeah, it could have been
the whole system. 2LO, I just had to grind at that point, but I was able to get it done. But yeah, just lots of good decks out there. And
All right, it's time for the next most important question. Are you guys ready? I need you to focus on this one too.
Is this about Doritos?
No.
Oh,
Taco Bell.
Although we do need a Dorito and a Taco Bell and a Girl Scout sponsorship. I'll get on that. No. Obviously, the show does a lot about wrestling. Who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
I don't know a lot of wrestlers, so I'm just going to say The Rock.
It's a perfectly acceptable answer. Gorlami's huge into wrestling.
Back in the day, I did really enjoy it. Probably say The Undertaker.
How far back in the day are you?
I don't know.
Are we
before
talking
what's
90s?
far? Yeah, most likely like when Raw and SmackDown were still a thing, and there was that segregation, I guess.
Well, there's still a thing, and there's still segregation.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Wookie, I'm bored. I'm gonna go play Keyforge now.
Bite me, sheep. We're talking Men in Tights, sir, and you will stay here and listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with one of those, like when Hulk Hogan and what's the guy with the money?
$1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase?
Yeah, I used to have like little pillows with him as a kid.
Did you have what were those things called?
I forget what they're called. It was just like they look like little I don't know, I forget.
Now I gotta look it up. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Here it is. Wrestle Buddies?
I guess so.
Yeah, and then like you'd like hit them and they'd talk.
I don't know about talking, but I'd slept with them every day.
Fair enough. Well, guys, we want to thank you for coming on again once more. We appreciate all the time you took out of your days. So appreciate you coming on. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, again, congratulations, Gorlami and Sith, on your wins, and congratulations to Reapout for being the first team to take down the first in both events. So well played, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, boys. With that being said, I think that's going to do it for us today, right?
Yep.
Let's see. We we forgot our Pepto-Bismol sponsorship. We'll get it next week. But with that being said, we'll see y'all next week.
Happy forging, everyone.
You got to do Ewoks Part 2.
Oh. May the forge be with you.
Why does it sound like Tiny Tim? Every time I just Merry Christmas, everyone.
No, that's the Schwartz guy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. All right, we'll see.
I did it on the episode that was lost, so nobody heard it. So
Yeah.
I think I'll do it again.
Yeah,
There we go.
one more time.
May the Schwartz be with you. Wait, no.
wrong game. Or wrong franchise.
Wrong show.
Here we go. May the forge be with you.
There we go. We'll see y'all next week.
Let's just leave it on a high note. They listen to me on the iPhones. The shit is fire, I'm a pyro. What's poppin'? Y'all are making me sick, I'm nauseous. Better open that door, I'm knocking. Get punched in the face, lose conscience. Watch me do my dance, I'm Carlton. Put the Glock in your mouth like a lozenge. Y'all snitch like Dwight from the office. I ain't never seen a fat boy ballin'. Let me dip my strips, I'm saucing. I just put this beat in a coffin. Man, I do this shit too often. I said you better proceed with caution, yeah. Still my style, if you got it on wish, I ain't falling off, dog. You might wanna watch this. Give him hit after hit after hit like I cannot miss. Jack Harlow, you really should've got me on this. For real, let me chill, I'ma mind my beeswax. Please pass me the weed, I need that. Gotta keep it on Dre, that's 3 stacks. Heard the beat, got the chills and relapse. It's Mercury.